Listen up, Earth Angels. Your depth is very alluring. Your depth, your intellectual capacity, your capacity for intellectual complexity, profound insight, or emotional maturity, your depth is very alluring, powerfully and mysteriously attractive, fascinating, or tempting. Ooh, often implies a magnetic or seductive quality that draws one's attention and inspires desire. Ooh, and that is what your depth does to people. Oof, they're just so captivated by it. They're so drawn in. You could be in control of their own focus when you're around, but something about you, when you open your mouth, when you just be in your element, it is so alluring. And I bet you can feel a little like, what do you call it? You can have a little dissonance. It can feel a little confusing because we live in this world that is full of people who are like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. But you're out here, you feel so at home in the deep. And it might have come from, childhood trauma, okay? Might have come from a little childhood trauma, might be a defense mechanism that your inner child picked up to keep you safe. Maybe things were a little chaotic growing up. And so to feel safe, you were like, let me try to understand. Let me try to understand what's going on. And so you grew up fostering this ability to endure intellectual complexity. It doesn't scare you. You feel comfortable in that, figuring out what's going on. Maybe, you were, again, around a lot of chaos. And so you developed this emotional maturity. So when people are angry, when they are overwhelmed, when they're triggered, you are able to not let that overwhelm you. Brilliant. And that's really powerful. So think of like you're like a mermaid, okay? Like a siren. Oh, this is powerful. So you're like a siren of old. Like you are just sitting here singing, hey. Everything you talk about is so profound, so deep, and it's alluring. So people are, really attracted to it. They want to hear more. They lean in when you speak. They can't help but look at you. You turn heads no matter where you go, because of your ability to swim in the deep. But what happens when, people are like, oh, like so caught up in your aura? They're so like, ooh, caught in, they're so captivated. And then they realize they're much deeper than they're comfortable with. They're much deeper than they thought they were going to go. And it scares them. And what do you do when you find yourself in deeper water than you're comfortable with? When you're out of your depths, you panic a little. You freak out. You're like, oh my God, I'm unsafe. How did I even get out here? How did I even get out here this far? And they might attack you. Your brain just starts to go crazy when you think you're about to drown. You're just like, oh, I gotta just survive, and you're slashing. And so people might have that kind of experience with you. They're drawn in, they're magnetized, they're so captivated by you, but like then they're like freaking out. And so yeah, I want to say it's in the Odyssey. Odysseus will say he, him and his sailors, they sail past the sirens, and the sirens, when you hear their song, it makes these men go crazy, and they are just like, oh, and they like jump to their deaths or something. And we think about that as kind of like an active thing, like the sirens are waiting for like sailors to come by. But in reality, the sirens are just doing their thing. They're like, we would be singing our siren song whether there was some human to hear it anyway. So you don't feel bad for being a siren. You don't feel bad for being out in the deep water. That's just your home. That's just where you feel comfortable. And you hang out with other sirens, other people who can handle the depth. And so when the humans, the mere mortals, come within, the gravitational pull of your siren song, they don't, try to like suppress the siren, What do? They plug their ears. You don't want to be lured to your death? Okay, cover up your ears. Kind of like Jesus when those good for nothing disciples were like, oh, look at those, prostitutes selling, their wares. Like, we're just looking at them with their titties out. What are we supposed to do about that? And Jesus is like, gouge out your own eyes, lest they tempt you to sin, baby. So when someone encounters someone who is tempting, alluring, the response is not to try to stop the temptress, the siren, from doing what they do, which is just be alluring, be attractive. It's to plug your ears, gouge out your eyes if you're not able to. The brilliance. That's what people are having to do. He just plugs his ears and he goes about his way. He doesn't try to like slay. He recognizes the sirens are just singing their song, doing their thing, and they are not responsible for the intoxicating effect that they seem to have on passerbying soldiers, sailors, soldiers, whatever, just regular men. They're like, this is my home. I'm just chilling on a rock with my girl. Or like eavesdropping and then have the nerve to like not even be able to handle it. They're going crazy about it. Like, chill, bro. Chill. And so when we live in this world that is surrounded by people who convince themselves that it's not that deep, nothing is that deep, right? It can be off-putting. It can be weird for you. Someone who lives in the deep, who thrives in the deep. You love kind of the shadow, the underworld. You are able to, because of your depth, you're able to, handle, to tolerate, emotions, the depth of our emotions. You feel comfortable in the underworld. You like to kind of look back at your traumas, the things that cause you shame, guilt, the shadow, the things we're supposed to hide. That's where you thrive. That's where you shine. That's where you feel the most comfortable. It's playtime down there for you. The sirens themselves, they're chilling. They're taking it back to the siren ocean analogy, not that good at walking. Whatever it is, like your legs just, you can't figure out the rhythm and they get tired easily. But when you swim, when you're in the depth, you can do flips, you can go fast, you can hunt, you can do whatever you want, you can float, you can rise above. So for you, the depth is where you feel comfortable. The depth is where you really come alive. And so that can be, it can be uncomfortable. It can be frustrating to live in a world with people who have convinced themselves that they can't swim, that that it's not that deep. And so, yeah, it's like the sirens are not just, their power is not just in their ability to have an intoxicating, magnetic, captivating voice. It's also in the fact that they live in the deep. If these sirens were just like chilling on the shore, it wouldn't be so crazy. Like men would just be like, oh my gosh, I got to come to you. But they're not going to like drown. But because the sirens live in the deep, they are used to being able to live, play, explore the depths. That's what makes them dangerous to other people. That's what makes them dangerous to the people who are not ready, who are not supposed to receive the benefit. Because, Odysseus, all of the people on his ship, they didn't listen. He was like, you better plug your ears. I know they're beautiful. I know the sound sounds nice, but you're going to fling yourself to your death. So might as well plug your ears. And they didn't listen. They,